Hey everybody, today I've got a 2020 Lexus RX350L. Now the big things here are that the RX receives a mild update for 2020. There are some changes to the exterior and to the interior, and the fact that the RX350L is the elongated version that technically comes with the third row seat, although that third row is unbelievably small and I can't imagine anyone over the age of like 2 or 3 fitting back there comfortably. So either way, I will give you a little tour of the exterior and then we'll check out the inside and I'll share some of my thoughts on the RX. Some changes up front to the RX for 2020. It gets slightly restyled headlights. It gets Lexus's slightly modified new corporate grille with all these little shapes in it and a slightly updated, tweaked, whatever you want to call it, lower front fascia there. Moving around to the side. And one thing to note about the RX350L is that all of the length is added behind the rear wheel. So this vehicle shares its wheelbase with the regular RX. It just gains 4.3 inches, and 4.3 inches is like that. 4.3 inches behind the rear wheel here, which technically, I guess in theory, leaves space to add a third row, but as I'll show you right now, that third row is really, really tight. This is a pretty much fully loaded example. It's not a hybrid, nor is it an F Sport, but it comes in at around $63,000. You'll see this is how much cargo space you have with the third row in place, and it's actually power operated via these switches right here. I will put down these headrests. And now that the headrests are down, I'll show you how much space is back here with one of the seats folded. Power operated, kind of slow. I would prefer they were just manually adjustable. I'd have them down by now already. But you can see the seat back folds down and then the seat bottom kind of retracts in and it beeps when it's finished there. So that's about how much space is in this thing with the third row folded. I'm going to leave that one up just so I can demonstrate how tight it is in the second row and the third row. So second row captain's chairs in this thing, so there was really only room for 6, although in my opinion there's really only room for 4. The seats do slide forward and back here, and in order to achieve really any leg room in the third row, the second row seat has to be slid pretty far forward, leaving very little legroom for the second row passengers. So yeah, really some odd configurability to this thing. I can barely fit in this third row. I mean, and by fit, I mean I can barely get my body back there. I would not be comfortable back there for more than, well, I wouldn't be comfortable back there at all, and I couldn't tolerate it for more than about 30 seconds. So anyway though, as far as the first 2 rows go, the RX is pretty comfortable. It's just when you factor that third row in, it just really doesn't make much sense. Lexus should really come out with a proper 3-row crossover SUV because it's a really hot market and a lot of buyers would really look to them for a 3-row luxury SUV. This just isn't really it. Hop up front here. A little bit of tinniness to the door. You'll get that in some Toyota and Lexuses, but as far as quality goes, everything else is pretty good in here. Push button start, 8-speed automatic transmission. One of the changes for 2020 is an updated infotainment system. This is a 12.3-inch screen. It still runs Lexus's rather frustrating infotainment system, but it does come with both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for 2020. So you just plug that in and then you're good to go. That helps you to get around some of the shortcomings of the native infotainment system, but you still have to deal with this frustrating trackpad right here. It's been improved a little bit from previous years. You swipe around and then you press. So it really isn't that bad to use, and the screen is super high resolution. I like it a lot. Still just have a little screen in the gauge cluster here. These are still old school analog gauges. Not much else has changed in here. You get this old school clock up front. That's one thing that frustrates me a little bit about this, is that this is the only clock you get on the center stack here. There's no clock in the infotainment system. The only digital clock I've been able to find over a course of a week with this vehicle is right here. So, for the passenger to not be able to look over and see a digital clock, that's a little frustrating. It seems like a shortcoming. But other than that, this thing is pretty great. We'll take a look at the window sticker here. So you can see that this is a 2020 RX350L. It's built in Japan. Under the hood is a 3.5 liter, 290 horsepower V6. Paired with an 8-speed automatic, this one has all-wheel drive. I found the powertrain to be pretty comfortable. Power delivery is good. That's all there. It's hard to go wrong with the 3.5 liter V6. Fuel economy is okay. I think these figures make a case for the hybrid version of the RX. It gets closer to 30 miles per gallon combined, but you're still looking at 25 highway at least, I guess, but 21 mpg. That could be improved upon a little bit. And you'll see this one's pretty much loaded. A bunch of options there. 12.3-inch navigation system, second row captain's chairs, blind spot monitoring. Pretty much all other active safety features are standard here. So you get lane tracing assist, road sign recognition, dynamic radar cruise control, lane keep assist, automatic high beams, which are one of my favorites. Altogether, that brings the price to $63,100, including that $1,000 destination fee. So in conclusion, the RX has been out for years now, and for most of those years, it's been one of, if not the top-selling luxury SUV in America. It's a winning formula. It's comfortable. Powertrains are good. It's loaded with safety features. They've rectified one of my main frustrations for this year, and that's this infotainment system. I really like this screen. In fact, I'm impressed, and I'm tentatively, I'll say that I'm excited for the future of Toyota infotainment systems, if this is any indication. That said, this one in particular, the L model, which I assume stands for long, it's 4.3 inches longer, and it theoretically has a third row seat, and I know that most third row seats in most SUVs are designed for kids. That said, the RX already straddles that space between compact and midsize, and it's not meant to have a third row, and I find it really odd that Lexus even bothered to offer one. It makes the vehicle, I guess, a little bit more marketable, but in practice, I can't see how that third row would be usable by anyone, over like 3 feet tall, because it's just so cramped back there. Maybe you can get by in a pinch, but I think for any parents shopping for a 3-row SUV, I don't think this is really a viable option given what else is out there. I think it would be hard to buy this for the third row. That said, though, it's a little bit longer. It's got some more cargo space. If you don't care about hauling the third row around, you get a little more cargo space back there. And I think the L only takes a 1 mpg hit relative to the regular RX. So, maybe you could justify the RX350L just for the added cargo space. But other than that, this thing is a comfortable, familiar, dependable, reliable luxury SUV. And as far as the update for 2020, it's only gotten better. So thanks for watching.